raining. So I don't know if that's working at all. I'm just gonna go work on this thing, and then I'll check on the comments later. So leave some comments. Just practicing with the live stream. You guys can hang out if you want. Yell at me, whatever. I'm doing the valve cover gaskets on the 4.6, but they're slightly different. This is the one that came off of it. This is the one that they provided in the kit. Apparently it goes to a 99 to 01 4.6. So I had to run to the parts store and get the right parts. Here. Ford 4.6. VS50564R is the photo number. Hopefully Jason got that right. I'm not sure. Looks good. Tearing this engine out wasn't horribly bad. I just decided to yard the whole thing out with exhaust manifolds and a link connected, because I don't want to screw with it too much. Makes it easier to swap everything out on the ground. Toolboxes here. So I got the engine in a couple of days ago, probably Tuesday, and I got it transferred over here, and the customer's already ready for it. They're already ready to start using it, so that's why he put this tent up for me. We'll jack this up a little bit, get the camera view a little better. There we go. That's probably better. Anyway, so he's ready for this thing. He's got a new employee. He's ready to start running this thing. And it had a low end knock, and it also had a coolant leak, but really didn't know what to do about that. Taking the low end out and putting new rings in it. And I didn't want to go that far. So just looked at the options, and he's going to probably just run it for a few years. I think he's going to run it for like 3 years with this new engine in it. Probably sell it off. His fleet is a couple of Chevys, and it makes it easier for me to work on the same thing. So he's going to get another Chevy Express van, and at some point swap this out for another Chevy Express van. That way we can just keep oil changes and other parts that constantly go bad on these things. Lights, light housing, door handles, things that guys break constantly. Just keep a bunch of those on the shelf or something ready to go. jump out there and take that bag off of that. It's hard for me to see. And I don't know if the internet here works well enough to stream. So you might be getting some 480 graphics anyway. No, like I said, it was an experiment to see if, like a vertical stream, haven't streamed in a while, and I don't know if I could get some coverage out here for the data, but I'll check in a minute. Gotta get this motor done over this weekend, and it's gotta be in service by Monday. So hopefully everything goes well. Looks like we're gonna omit camshaft break-in because I have a roller rocker assembly, but I do need to get oil pump and force oil through the engine. Because I don't know if they put enough assembly lube on this engine. Well, I worked for a few guys and they told me when you get a crate motor, just fire it. Don't sit there and rotate it. Try to get oil pressure built up or anything like that. They just told me, just fire the engine, let it run. That'll do the least amount of damage, but it says in the paperwork that came with this one that you need to go ahead and prime the entire engine or you avoid the warranty, so I have to follow those recommendations at least. At the least. So I threw the flex plate on here, the spacer plate. Now I'm just doing the valve covers. I cleaned the surfaces here on the intakes. There's paint on the surface, so I cleaned that off with brake clean and made sure that I didn't get any down into the intake. The exhaust, I'll probably just spray off. I'm not really worried about that too much. This, I need to get some silicone. It appears the data is holding out. My favorite gasket material is the Right Stuff 1 Minute black. But the problem is that they changed the can, and this stupid thing, it worked once well, and then it just doesn't work again. I don't know if it's the cold weather I'm in, but this works like crap. So I have to put it in the vise and like literally heat the can up with a torch to thin it out a little bit. I'm not really happy with this. Just me griping, I guess. That's why I'm off camera and running around with a torch. Don't worry, I'm not trying to set fire to an O'Reilly or something. That was last week. Okay, I'm still working on this. It's still a thing here. Okay.
I'm looking for some tools I don't have.
Apparently. Still nothing. It sucks. I think I'm gonna have to go to the backup plan for the silicone on this job. That's why I always keep these crappy little bottles. Tubes, gray, but I don't like gray, but whatever. I have to put some silicone here. Without cover gaskets, you're gonna have a problem. And then the other issue is that when I flipped it, I lost orientation on which one of these studs and bolts go where. I'll probably have to swap a couple later for the wiring harness. But just get it assembled for now. Looks like the crew is getting, they're either getting off early or I'm working late. I got some normal day for people who start at 6 a.m.? I wouldn't know. As long as the fans are working. Do what you can. Alright, I'm going to do the other valve cover now. I'm going to make a mark on studs. Do that again. Hey, I'm live streaming on YouTube if it's actually going out from this location. Yeah, just letting you know before you walk into camera. You can. I think there's one guy watching. I can't see. I got a bag over my phone because of the rain.
You do a video where you speed it all up.
I did one earlier. Mechanical triage. Oh, you're gonna check, see if it's live. Yeah, see if it's coming through at better than 480K or 480 resolution.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that works. All right. Just sitting here talking to myself. Is there anybody else on? Oh, that looks great. All right. See me make an ass out of myself in 4K. How's your guys' day?
Oh, that's pretty good, man. It was wet.
Yeah.
Treachery, you know. Treacherous roof and shit.
The slope on them?
Oh, yeah.
Metal?
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, I'll ask
Yeah, seems a lot. So you still use those wedges?
I use those religiously, man.
Even on a dry day?
If it's steep, if it's 12, 12, something like that, I'll
Can you
still
guys
use
climb something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
Even with a wedge?
That looks like a freaking A-frame. Yeah, I mean, if this is...
It is. The other side goes all the way down.
Yeah, if it's a good, fresh wedge that has a good foam under it, it'll stick. But at the same time, too, it's a risky one. It slips.
And you tie off, right?
Sometimes. But yeah, getting up there to tie off sometimes is the real challenge.
Oh.
You know, your clips and shit.
What about like throwing over the peak and then tying off to the ground or the truck or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That has to be a big piece of work though to get all the way in there.
You don't do that?
Yeah, something like that I wouldn't even go.
Oh.
This got like some different little textures, you know, like a smaller middle here, with some
Yeah, where it's got something a little better.
Yeah. I think for like 12 12s are cool. That A-frame looks a little bit much. Well, I'll do 12 12s all the time.
What's that?
That's just like a little bit less of an angle.
What's that one?
That looks like an A-frame. So that's like a straight.
Oh, okay.
That would be sick. I'll skip it. How's it going over here?
Fine. I got the flex plate moved over, and I'm working on the valve covers. Nothing in there to do. Clean the surfaces up because they paint them. And the paint here I got to get rid of. And then just a matter of the water pump pulley didn't want to come off the water pump. They never do. And I think I need to grab a new water pump just for shits and giggles. But now I have to get this off of here.
So
The bolts are in behind this pulley, so I have to try to get that bolt loose, and then this bolt loose, and that one. And then there's another one that's under here, but I can't move the pulley forward to get clearance for them. So I gotta try to get the water pump off, so I can put it on the bench, get the shit out of it, and get this pulley off the fan clutch.
when you order an engine, You have to still take all the other.
Yeah, this is what it came with. Comes with a timing chain installed and a timing cover. Some of them don't even have the front cover. This one is what's called partially tinned, and that's because it has an oil pan and a front cover. And a tinned one usually comes with valve covers, but I think because they're plastic, they're just like the oil pan's metal.
This engine's very essentially.
So that'll probably, yeah, I mean this will probably break and transport anyway, so they probably don't want to install it. Yeah, I mean, yes, basic, but the majority of all of the machining and technical shit that happens is inside here. The honing, the rings, the ring gap clearance, the bearing clearances to the crankshaft, and you got the camshaft bearing clearances here. This cap holds the camshaft on, and there's oiling clearances of 15 or 2 thousandths, which is half the thickness of a sheet of paper. And so that can have an oil film in it, and each one of those has to be checked. And it came with a bunch of paperwork, like the head bolts. See how it's got different colors? And then somebody signed off on it, and then somebody else signed off on it. They were torqued down properly, and all these rockers are installed properly. And they had a lot of hands on this engine, which is fine. Everybody checked off the little boxes. So I feel like it's done well. And then they put in a valve cover gasket set from a 2099 to 02 Ford 4.6 liter engine. They're a decade off, but it doesn't even fit me. So I had to go get the right part. And now I'm wondering if the intake gaskets and the exhaust gaskets are correct. If not, I'm gonna have to go get those too. So, little thing.
Yeah, looks like a darn project.
Yeah, it's not. Just a lot of tediousness and time. Nothing. I mean, it came out like a lot easier than I had expected. After we talked crap about Fords and BMWs and stuff, it's not. No. I think Chevys. I think compared to this one, I think those ones are a little bit more cumbersome. But
So what made his engine die? What was...
This one, it's got a low end knot. So this engine and a lot of Ford engines, but the 4.6 particularly is susceptible to oil sludging, and we haven't been doing great oil changes in good intervals on it, unfortunately. But the oil galleys are really small, and so they sludge up easy. And so the one that goes to one of the rod bearings decided to clog up, and you have a dry rod bearing, and it starts wringing it out.
Is that similar to this one?
That one's a camshaft issue, but that's the same thing. Lack of maintenance mostly, and those we're pointing at. If you're still here, we're pointing at a Chrysler 2008 Chrysler 300 5.7. That one is prone to have the MDS multi-displacement solenoids fail, and there's a lifter that has a roller on it. The roller seizes up also due to lack of maintenance, but they're also designed poorly, and they seize up and they just stop rolling, and they just grind the camshaft load down. You get a flat cam. We don't have any knocking, like ticking or anything like that, but it's missing a cylinder. We've replaced all of the solenoids. It will not come back to life. So the next step was to pull the camshaft out and confirm that it's dead. And with that many miles on it, we were going to do the head gaskets anyway. So as I get ready to do that, he orders a cam kit for it. Well, he didn't get like a stage 1 camshaft, he got a lumpy cam. And the lumpy cam is like stage 3 racing cam almost. And to do that, you're going to get higher compression because it's going to open the valves longer, and it's going to put more stress on the rings that have 200,000 miles on them. So you have to pull the block apart and put new rings in and hone it, make sure that the cylinder bore is perfect. And if you don't, then you're going to blow the rings out, and you're going to have blow-by, and it's just going to smoke. So I'm tearing that one down to the block, and it's going to go to the machine shop. And so because of his choice of camshafts, it made more work for me. But I'm like, okay, we'll get it done. And then this took a shit, and then it's like, can you break one thing? At least that thing isn't At least that thing's been behaving.
Yeah, for a month or so far now.
Yeah, he said he had it out a few times. He hasn't missed a beat. He tried to break another CV axle and it didn't. So, I'm happy with that. So, how's the guys doing? Is he ready to go out on his own?
No, none of them really are.
Oh, okay.
Like, have you met Oliver?
No, he said the specialist.
Yeah.
He says,
Does he call himself that?
"How's it, Dan?" Called it. He said, "Come Monday, he's gonna get this van."
Yeah. No, Oliver is. He reminds me a lot of Daryl.
Really?
Well, like
In that way?
In the way that he's just constantly talking about himself and his, how he's this amazing man that's conquering the world. And, he's like better at everything than most average people, but he never stops talking about himself. And it's like, shut the fuck up, Oliver. But you ride with him in a day and you see that he doesn't know. Like he's just, there's a lot of talk. And you learn really quick when you're on the job with him. All that stuff that he says. And he's very hot for you know, not thorough with the job. Yeah, you're like throwing the motor and shit all over the place.
That's that. I'm not a plane mechanic.
But you, I mean, you know.
You calling him out on shit though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess.
Is he accepting?
Not really. That's another thing. He's just like, he just can't. He can't be told that he's wrong.
Humble. I've been doing this 20 years and I still don't know anything. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So.
That's the same way I think. I don't know shit, but I know more than you do.
I know
because-
that's not what you do.
The other two guys that teach you with,
Good.
like Oliver is the specialist.
Because he came from another place and he has certification.
We got certification through Dan now. But
Propane.
He's just got
Propane fire insert.
Yeah, he's got
That's what Dan wants to utilize.
gas and propane.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but are you taking on too much? Or is this something that's sustainable later? And Dan's like, it's sustainable and it's got growth potential in the business. I said, okay, well,
Yeah.
as long as you're not.
It does, but Dan and myself are almost needing to get as much as we can. But he actually knows.
Like, yeah, we also. It's like where I'm at. It's like, yeah, I'd like to take on more, but let's get done what we have right now.
Yeah. And you just have to be a teammate in this little company.
I don't play well with others. You're doing great, though. I mean, you're hanging in there.
Yeah, I'm just like I say, I'm kind of like you. I'm trying to figure out another avenue of.
Are you?
I mean, I'll probably get Dan at least like, maybe my goal is 2 years, and then I can't keep doing.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. But please, because he's resting heavy on your shoulders.
Yeah,
If you're gonna do something,
I mean, I'll let him know. I'm not gonna.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's not
you're the man. So
Yeah. No, he's helped me out enough to where I would never fuck him over. I'd give him plenty of time, but it's just too like I don't.
and he'd be gracious. He'd be gracious. He'd be like, I understand.
It's the same reason you want to get out of building motors.
I want to do something better. Like, I don't want to do tedious things like this. I'd rather put that roll cage together, finish that rock crawler.
The drone business sounds.
Did you see the 292 I built? Yeah, it's on the.
Yeah, just follow you, right? Just
Yeah.
subscribe, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of shorts. I didn't make any really long form video, but the 292 engine, it's more. It's going to be as in depth as a Chrysler engine. I tore it down to the block. We had to find the block. It's a 1951 Chevy pickup truck, or suburban-ish thing.
Yeah.
And I found a motor, and it came with a 235 or whatever, and he put a 270 in from a GMC, which was wrong. The mechanic put it in anyway, had to fabricate everything to put the wrong motor in the car, and then I put a 292 in, which was the same, it's a Chevy, but it's the same era, just a later year. It came out in 64, his car's 51. But to get it back in there properly, there's a motor mount in the front of the motor underneath the crankshaft, and then it holds to like 2 ears on the transmission, and it, like the motor just moves around a lot. So to do it right, I had to triangulate from the motor mount on the transmission mount, and I had to install 2 motor mounts here and weld them to the frame. So there's fabrication time and all this, but took the block to the shop. The shop said the block was good. I had to put new rings on it, rod bearings, cam bearings, fucking do all this, checking every single one. And I built the entire motor from every single nut and bolt taken apart. I had to find the parts, build the thing, put it together, and all the trials and everything that I went through, and break it in, and then touch it up, tune it, and all of that crap. And we went with like Shorty Street headers and a Clifford intake for power and a Weber carburetor, and just fucking painted the thing, beautiful engine. And customer's ecstatic. He's so happy. Like, he didn't give a shit. He says, I want to drive my car. They're like, you want to do an LS swap, or do you want to do like a retro old engine? He goes, I don't care. I have this much money. I said, okay, we can do it for this much money. And he goes, okay. I fell over on the timeline. Still got to put back together. It was a little longer than he wanted, but I had everything else going on. It happened. So, yeah. But I'd rather do something like that, but it's not profitable ever.
Yeah.
This doesn't ever end up being like, I say I do a starter for somebody, and I'm like $200, and it takes me half an hour. Yeah. And that's fair, but.
Well, are you gonna do something with the drone? Or are you gonna try to go out there and like do?
I got the drone for. I can legally use drone footage for this channel, and I have another channel that is dedicated to real estate videos and just as a portfolio, basically. But right now is not the weather to do this, and it takes a long time to get into that market. And I would love to do more work with the drone. They have a drone ban and some shit happening with Chinese drones being imported, because DJI is 95% of the market, and so there's some legislature about how they're trying to ban them so that the other companies that don't have any market share can actually sell them now. And the only way that they could get market share was to ban their competitor. So I'm just on the sidelines, and I have no lack of work. I just have lack of enthusiasm for the work.
For sure. Yeah.
So I'd rather make a bunch of crappy YouTube videos and see if I can get that to take off better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were got really creative with your drones and your videos, I feel like you could make these cool videos, that people would watch.
So there's a guy on a YouTube channel that it's called Japan Walker or something. My wife watches a lot. He just puts like a GoPro on here, and he doesn't talk. He just walks around Japan. He's got millions of followers. He's making money. Like, he can support himself, and he just goes downtown in Japan, probably lives there, just walks around, goes to the cafe, posts his video, and that paid for his month's rent and all his food, So you're right, like, sunset shots in Kirkland and some of the houses behind it or something, and it's like, people will watch it because they want to, like, this is the #1 area where people in the United States are moving right now. This is the #1 growth area. So if I just went down to the, down to the waterfront and took shots, people would watch that.
Yeah, and I like the videos. I get like engulfed in you're going up like a snowy road or something with all the scenery and stuff, and you like just have some music like a soundtrack to it.
I'm watching these videos on like what to do and what not to do with your drone, and it's like nobody wants to see your damn videos of trees. Like,
Yeah, I love it. Like little dusty road with like a cool soundtrack, like put some music to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes just
see, that's the dichotomy. The entire thing is like, okay, so you got to do the editing, you got to do the time, you got to get the licenses for the music, or on an iPhone you can use GarageBand, and if you're savvy, you can make your own beats. But
so you really can't put on this random.
You get a copyright strike, and you don't get to monetize your channel. Like, that video gets demonetized, and the money that it would make gets sent to the music. So even though you just use 10% of the creativity with just the music, and you made the video and took the shots, you lose all your rights to monetization. So, and that video of me blowing up that tire has over 10 million views, and it's made about $1,000, which isn't much, but it's a short video, and that's over the course of a year. So I get.
I mean, it's a good start, right? Like 10 million views.
Well, it's like replicate that. Like Whistle and Diesel, it's like replicate. Like, what do you want me to blow something up, or like?
Yeah, you just gotta keep looking for the next big thing.
You should have took your old car out into the woods and drove over it with that thing.
Dude, it's.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm down.
Okay. He's ready to light that thing on fire.
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool.
I will destroy that thing. I just want to be a part of the second.
We have to tow it out of there though. Oh, the farm. Have you ever been out there? So, we need to talk to him to give us rights to use this area wherever over here, so that we can set up a jump in your car, and like a couple other people involved. Everybody's gonna sign waivers or whatever, and we need to get Dan a fire suit. And so. I was gonna like mix gasoline with Vaseline and wipe the truck down, and then have them come busting through a flaming wall, and then so you have to have fire suit, and then go violate your car a couple of times, and then have everybody else come through and do the same thing, and. Yeah, it needs to die. All right, let me know. I'll talk to Dan when I see him and see if we can get.
Yeah, and I'm serious. Like I just been like I want to destroy it. Like that's the whole way I'm gonna enjoy having it.
Well, what's your favorite drink? Like we can see how long it'll run off of Red Bull instead of oil or something. That's a whole different video right there.
I'm whatever brainstorm. You can do whatever you want with that car. As long as I'm there to watch it.
Oh yeah, so we got a donor. I know he's up for it. All right,
Yeah.
so I'll talk to him.
Right on.
I always try to keep one of these trays with me. I got this thing at like IKEA, I think. Just a crappy little. It was a multi-shelf thing. I always try to keep this with me so that I keep all my tools in one spot. Because I have a problem of setting tools here and there, and then I'll put these here. And I just waste so much time walking around looking for where I put my tools. I tried it. They make those mats. Maybe I should get one of those. I think Nuts and Bolts with Tone. I think he has a few good videos on those. I like his box setup. He's in a shop, so he's got way too many tools. I'm mobile, so I have to limit what I have. But I think he's got some. Forget the name brand, but you know they're the green ones and the orange ones. The silicone mats to hold all your tools, roll out, and everything. Those are very handy too. Not in my industry with mobile and everything, but I think some of those would be kind of handy.
15th.
Still finding tools everywhere. GR out of the way. Then the oil pickup tube out of the way for now. It has to be installed. I've done this twice now. I've installed the oil pickup, or installed the exhaust manifold before the oil pickup tube, and had to figure out how to get the oil pickup tube fished down around the exhaust manifold and then into that hole, and it never works out quite well. I got it, but it probably took an hour or 2 hours just to get the dipstick back in, because I didn't want to take the exhaust manifold back off. So, this. That up. Switched out these new ones. Enough. I thought I had more brake cleans around here. Guess not. Some more up. tools back where they go when you're done. You're still here. I don't think this is all glory. This is the easiest part of the day. It gets real fun when you get underneath there and keep hitting your head on stuff. I got like 5 or 6 lumps on my head. Trying to crawl out. I keep hitting my head on the frame rail. No lift, so you gotta work on your back on the ground. Luckily I have this plywood. I did not want to have to do this in the gravel. Wet gravel. Done it before. It's not fun. I'd have some tunes going, but that's a guaranteed way to get a copyright. And I would like to get more support from my monetization on this channel here, so that I can make better videos and spend more time editing and coming up with things, maybe do some skits or something. Something like that. Something a little bit more entertaining. Alright. I'm gonna shut this down. Check my comments later. Respond if you happen to make a comment or ask a question. I will try to check in with them later this evening. See if I can't answer any questions that you might have. Sorry, to say, like why I'm 1 grommet short. I'm not. Anyway, if you're watching, thanks for watching. And what I'll do is I'll get some more time-lapse footage and some B-roll and stuff, and I'll try to keep the camera set up over here a little bit closer to the work area and what I'm doing, and get some better shots of this, because there's a couple people actually interested in this particular job. And try to keep it entertaining as well as I can. Alright, we'll check my text messages and my voicemail and turn my tunes back on. I'll see you guys later. Hey, I didn't realize there was 49 people here. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching, and saw a couple of the comments. Fantastic. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna let it roll for a couple of more minutes. If you could do me a favor real quick and throw in some comments, what do you guys want to see? I want to really make something that people enjoy watching, and do whatever I can to exceed in your expectations. I've been building this channel from zero for the last, I don't know, 10 years or however long it's taken me, 8 years. I'm at 55,000 now, which is fantastic. I appreciate that greatly, that many people would be interested in my content. But I need to know, because I just randomly just making stuff that I like to make, and it's just all over the board. So if you guys have an idea of what you guys would like to see, please just throw a couple comments in real quick before you head out, before I shut this down, so that I can review this later and try to make this channel better for everybody who's actually spending the time to watch this. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. So thank you very much. That's all I get for heat.